Hello everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the biggest scammers in healthcare. Well, actually I'm sure there's a bunch of these companies and a bunch of terrible healthcare insurance claim hospital, these billing nightmare scenarios where people pay their bills, then they get sent to collections because the money that they saw left their account, it's in the bank statements, it went here. You call the company, they say, no, we don't have it, it's this other company. You call the other company, the payment processor. So in my case, here's what happened. Let me tell you, I used United Healthcare, terrible, and my wife had to go to, the doctors for a couple things. There was three different visits, of which two different visits. One was at a hospital, one was at a normal physician's office, and out of those came 4 charges, but 2 separate days. Okay, whatever. So there was actually a lot more, but insurance paid those, and then these were the ones where we had to pay a remainder. And even if it's a penny, you're like, uh-oh, now you hear the horror stories where you make a payment and United Healthcare redirects you, and they have like 3 payment processors, and one of them's Instamed. And they're like, oh, it's Instamed, you have to call Instamed. I wasted 1 hour of my life on the call, was very patient, a ton of just waiting and on hold music. And finally they're like, we can't find it in our system, we still have to wait. Well, actually we found it, but it's through Instamed. I never got a receipt. Oh, you should have gotten it via email. Nope, never got anything. You should have gotten a receipt via text message. Nope, I never received any text messages. It should have been the phone that's on file. Yes, I checked. I don't have any other numbers that I put in during that month. I made this payment, never got anything, and they said, okay, we'll transfer you to Instamed. They transferred me to Instamed. Instamed said, we can't even find this in our system. You probably got redirected to the wrong place. And I say, no, United Healthcare said it's Instamed. You guys have 4 of my payments that I called the physician's office. They didn't receive the payment. We received a bill from the physician's office. So now we're going to have to double pay. Instamed says, it's not us. United Healthcare always sends this. I've had multiple cases like this. It's not us. It's the other payment provider, because United Healthcare has 2 other payment providers. Yeah, blame it on the other guys. And I said, well, I through my bank, it says literally your name on it, Instamed. You guys are the ones. And obviously I was doing this politely, but at this point I'm getting very frustrated because they keep claiming, oh no, it's not us, it's not us. And they said, well, we can't find it in our system, so that can't be true. And I said, I have the bank statements to prove it to you. And they're like, well, you have to email that. We're going to start a case. We're going to start searching. All the meanwhile, probably our stuff's going to go to collections, because at this point we're a couple months into this ordeal. And I thought everything was already paid for until I received another bill. I thought everything was done for. United Healthcare says, oh, even if it was paid, there's a processing time, and then there's 30 business days that it takes for us to send it to the physician's office, and then the physician office has to accept it, and then it comes back to us, and then there's another waiting time. It's like, what are you talking about? Why? First off, why is it taking 30 business days, a month and a half? Why is it taking that long? In cryptocurrency, send something, it's automatic, right? Even wire transfers, Zelle payments, all this stuff. Come on. Are we living in the medieval ages where something's taken, you have a pigeon that flies it to you? I don't know. And the tech team, they have to get IT involved. They can't find the payments. I don't know. You're not even in our system. And it's like, okay. So I look Instamed up. And I look up this other physician where when we went to the hospital, there was an x-ray done, and this imaging consultant group, whatever, they have so many Better Business Bureau complaints. They have so many 1-star reviews on Google. They have a non-existent phone number. I called one number and there's just static. I called the other phone number and they're asking me about some number that I should have received in the mail. I never received anything in the mail. And a lot of other reviews said, same thing. They won't talk to you unless you have this number, which nobody has this number. And you're like, what the heck? So first off, made this payment. Instamed lost it. I don't even know if I can get a refund. If I charge them back, I'm worried that they're going to send me to collections. And I want to make a double payment now to this other physician, imaging, whatever. One of the physicians, no problem. They're easy to get. They have a physical office. These other guys don't have a freaking physical office. They're based in a hospital, and when you go to the hospital, they don't know who. It's like this game, charades, you know, smoke and mirrors, and you're like, what's even going on here? These are small amounts, people. We're talking about less than $100, all 4 of these transactions all together. But I'm worried about being sent to collections. However, there are cases where people owe thousands of dollars, and they're screwed. They want to make a double payment, and they do sometimes, and that payment doesn't go through, and they still get sent to collections, and your credit gets ruined for the next 7 years. And as someone who's still going through bankruptcy, who's been through a terrible time these past 7 years, it is a nightmare. Once your credit is ruined, especially with medical debt, there have been some, thankfully, good news over these past couple of years where now it gets reported a little differently. It shouldn't impact your credit as much, but it still impacts your credit. Don't get me wrong. You're still going to have everything destroyed. And if you have bad credit, if you have one collection on there, even if it's $1, they do not care. Your insurance premiums will go up like insanity. Your insurance for your mortgage, for your home, for your rent, for your car, for health insurance, all of that will go up to such heights that you will be scrambling for money. My car insurance costs as much as a car payment because of my bad credit. That's why I take such great offense when these companies, which are worth billions of dollars, and they have CEOs that are making hundreds of millions of dollars, lose payments and then ask for double payments, and then they send you right to collections, and they don't care. This is on you. The burden of evidence. You must present proof to us. We do not have it. They throw their hands up in the air, and it's just such a scam. These people are the biggest con men I have ever dealt with, because at least in Europe, you have free insurance. You go, you get your stuff done. Here, not only do they charge you thousands of dollars for visits, and and it's this little game, they charge thousands to insurance, and insurance says, no, it's not worth this, it's worth this, and we'll only pay this, and then you have this remainder, okay, let me pay it, and then they lose the payment, and that's it. In Europe, you go to the doctor, you get a bill if something's not covered by the free, you know, like a surgery or something out of the norm, right? You have to go to like a specialist for some special disease, and you have some special drugs. But even then, it's like 1/10 of the cost that it is here. So you get overcharged, you get thrown into chaos, and ultimately people just don't know what to do, and they leave you to it, and you waste hours of your life on the phone. And I know this is just the beginning. This will take us probably, I hope it's resolved quickly, but for one of these companies, I can't even, there's no physical office. I'm calling, there's nobody to call. I call the insurance company, they say, oh no, just call them. And I mean, I'm flabbergasted with this whole situation. So, if it gets really bad, we're going to write to the Attorney Generals and Better Business Bureau and complaints, and there's like this FHD, I don't know, there's a bunch of forms to fill out, and if that's what it has to be, then it'll be like that. Again, these silly payments, but I don't care. Oh, it's $13 here, it's $24 here. Yes, I want that money back. I don't want to double pay. I want the physicians to be paid. That is true. But also, I just fear for my credit, and even worse, my wife's credit, where she was the patient and she did nothing wrong. Her credit is new, and I would hate for her credit to be absolutely destroyed from something that, you know, it was an emergency. She had to go to a doctor for various reasons, and it had to be done. And in a moment where someone's anxious and nervous over, hey, I have this medical reason for going to the doctor, whatever it is, you shouldn't be worried about, oh, the billing department. In America, this is so, I just want to swear, but I'm going to keep it friendly. And this is almost the end of the rant here. This is so messed up. You go to a doctor, you go to anybody, any specialist, and the first thought in your mind, unless you're unconscious, is how much is this going to be? And when you go to the hospital, they make you sign these waivers, and they ask about your insurance, and they ask all of this stuff up front, and they triple check because they want to get paid. And that's the first thing that happens, unless you're having a real bad crisis where you're about to die or you're falling unconscious, or it's like, oh no, we need to get this done now. They come into your room and they remind you, this is what's important. And you're thinking, you're sitting there, how much is this visit going to cost me? You're sitting in the ER and, uh-oh, you owe a couple $1,000s because they charged you 10 grand at the hospital. It's like, I mean, I try and avoid the doctors and hospitals as much as possible because I'm worried how much is this all gonna cost me, you know? This system's so messed up, and what's going on in America, this needs to change, but I know it's not gonna change anytime soon. It's been messed up for a long time, so that's my little rant. I'm not gonna name all of these. I'm not gonna use the full names of these companies except Instamed because, well, if you look them up, you can see the nice reviews that they have. And that is that. Please share your stories. I'm sure you have your stories. There's probably plenty of you who have your personal stories with the American healthcare system, whether it's the hospitals, whether it's the insurance, whether it's the payment processors or the pharmaceutical companies or whatever your story is. Please let me know, because I'm sure there's a bunch of this fun stuff. And don't even get me started on pharmaceutical companies, because you know I've certainly had my fair share of fun with those many years ago. So, and still suffering effects from that today. But you know, people get allergic to ibuprofen. I mean, normal stuff. They have enriched flour. They inject vitamins into your food here. You know, you could be a normal, healthy human being. You're never smoking cigarettes. You're never drinking alcohol, and you still get sick because of this messed up industry. It's just crazy. I don't want to go into any conspiracy theories. I certainly don't want to go down that route, but there's just some evil companies out there, and all they care about is your money. And that's it. And they don't look at you as a human being. They look at you as filling their coffers. Thanks for watching. Update second week. We are a little closer, but still very far. So I received word from Instamed. Someone at Instamed actually did their job really, really well, and they finally found everything. And then that led to another email, and then that led to another conversation. And then finally someone, like, bam, gave me everything I needed. Merchant IDs, transaction, receipts, everything. The first person from Instamed who I spoke with, terrible customer service. Oh, no, we don't have anything. The reason they couldn't find it was because it was my wife who was a patient. It was under her name, even though I'm the person whose insurance policy she was using, and it's under me for United, I don't know. United said something where, yeah, sometimes these things happen if there's a different name. And then that led me to think, like, okay, Instamed, have we checked everywhere? And then someone realized, and then they found it, but they still were like, well, it's not us. 2 of the transactions were. The other 2 were probably the other ones. And I was like, no, all 4 UHC confirmed was from Instamed. And then they confirmed, and they were like, yes. And no, sorry, no apologies, just yes, there we go. So we got the data, and I called the provider, and I said, here's everything. Here's the receipts. Here's the merchant ID. I know that some of this is probably internal, so it's not going to mean a lot, but they still couldn't find it. And I was like, well, at the very bottom of the email, it says, I called them, and I said, here's the situation. I'll forward you the email. She got it. And at the bottom, it says, call Instamed if there's any concerns. So I will now have to recall again and confirm that, yes, hopefully they were able to find the money. Instamed says, oh, everyone received their money over a month ago. And yet, I don't know. So tomorrow, when I'll finally get, I'm going in late to work, so I'll have some time to speak with people instead of Sunday when they're closed. And we're going to try and get these providers to find this money, because I don't want any collections, and especially I don't want my wife to have any collections. This process is not ideal, especially considering there's people who have had, instead of less than $100, they've had $2,000 go missing, or thousands more, $10,000 missing. Well, that's not ideal, because now suddenly you can't double pay $10,000. You need that money, and I learned my lesson. Don't use a third-party payment processor. I did not realize how tricky this would be. For whatever reason, both the provider's system sucks, and the insurance and the payment processor's systems suck, and nightmare. Anyways, thanks for watching. And my tooth is starting to hurt again. The root canal tooth. Woo! Now let's get into dental problems once more. I just had my wisdom tooth removed like a week ago because, well, that started popping out and was growing sideways and started impacting the other teeth. Well, now the other side, I mean, my teeth are, yeah, these unfortunately have cost me thousands and thousands and thousands, and the situation is not ideal. But that is that. Have a great one. Take care. 2 weeks later, and we're still waiting for billing to confirm. They don't know what's going on. 2 companies confirmed. This last one, for whatever reason, even though I called them multiple times, sent multiple emails, they don't know. What a disaster. But that is that. I guess it will keep going for an endless amount of time. Have a great day.